good day. Ira Epstein, and here we are with your metal market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for Thursday. And remember, we're July 24th, 2025. And as you know, I'm out of town. Got a few more days left out of town, which will be enjoyable for me, and returning next week. But in the meantime, I can't get away from looking at the markets and the amount of chop you have. It's as though now the markets are running a true summer pattern where you're going up a little bit, down a little bit. Each move is getting countered within days, and I think that's important to look at. In terms of the news of the you're going to get the advanced durable goods order in the morning. They're not looking for good numbers. They're looking for a negative 11% from the rise of 16.4% that we saw in May. And President Trump did visit the Federal Reserve building that's under renovation, and he stood with Fed Chair in front of the reporters and fielded some questions. And of course, he just can't resist himself. But what's he visiting the building for? He's going to tell you he's an expert builder. He would have done it different. It would have been done quicker. He would have saved the money. I can go on and on. He did that with Air Force One too, didn't he? And that's still being built. I can go on, and he's had overruns too. But we'll see where this wants to go or not go shortly. In terms of the market, though, why don't we just go now and take a look and see what's going on? You can see that the dollar was up mildly. The gold market was down pretty good. Today you had the S&P up, but the Dow down. There's rotation going here. The NASDAQ gained again as you broke back on the Russell. So one day the Dow and the Russell were up. The other day now they're back down. That's the pattern I'm seeing. I expect very little in the bonds and notes. In the Bitcoin, remember, tomorrow is the last trading day of this contract, so you want to be switching over tonight to the August Bitcoin. When we look at the gold market, you've had that break, and the market since then has just been very silent. It's just sort of drifting and holding on. You see that in the chart pattern too. Even though you can visually see the higher lows and the higher highs, where have you gone? You haven't cleared even the high from back on June 16th at 34.7630. Not able to do that, and haven't been able to break under the low. And so for 2 weeks, you're basically trading in noise, as I like to call it. The trend is up as you have higher lows, higher highs. The market is holding so far the 18-day average of closes. Now, you might get some traders wanting to buy at 33.56, but understand the risk. If you put a stop under the last low, that's going to be a $42 risk. I think that's way too much to risk on the contract, but that's just me. Where's the market stopping on each of the rallies? At the upper Bollinger Band, falling back to the neutral zone of the 18-day average, and momentum along the way got overbought, and now it's pulling right back on you. You can see that too. When we look at the gold-silver ratio, I have been very favorable silver over gold, as you know, for weeks on end, and it's working out. You're now down to 86. In the silver, the chart pattern's a bit different, but it too is overbought. If you look here, day one of embedding, day two was today. Now the market can get the third day, and if it does, that's when it gets exciting. It could become a buy if it embeds. So I have to get through tomorrow to see that the way that I chart. The trend right now up, hitting the Bollinger Band throws the market back. In the copper market, it made a new high on the whole move. You got up to 595.85. And I was commenting this morning, it's $6 a pound copper. The thieves are going to come out everywhere you can imagine. They'll be stealing stoplights. They'll be going to building centers and looking for the copper rolls to take things. They'll go into old houses and rip out the wiring and sell it away. That's how it's going to work. So be ready for that. And that's what happens when you get to these kind of prices. In the platinum, you've hit over and over the upper Bollinger Band, and while you're pushing on it and moving the market slightly higher, the market can't just pick up and accelerate, and now it's pulled back to the 18-day average of closes. And in the dollar index, you can see the market is now 2 days or 3 days under the Bollinger Band. Is the market over on the upside? It certainly looks that way. It's in a trading pattern at the very least, not reaffirming the bear pattern just yet. I do want to remind you to join me and my other subscribers in the morning as we all take a look at what goes on in the markets. I put out a futures market spider ETF video, and then I put out just a futures video. I should have said futures ETF, but one's a futures video, one's a spider ETF. And they're first thing in the morning with very specific trade recommendations. Just click on these icons and that will take you to it. I'm Ira Epstein. You have yourself a great evening. I will catch up with you all tomorrow.